Shame on you! 50 bells!
Phone number on that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is our front desk, and that's me actually.
Oh, okay.
My name's Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
And hey!
Good.
So I got that, and yeah, you can always stop by our office right after this if you want to talk about anything. I mean,
okay.
Are you with
I'm just independent media.
All
just
right,
trying
that's
to
the
get
way
it.
to be.
Yep. Okay, well, thanks for doing all this.
Absolutely. We're trying to organize best we can, get awareness out, you know, get students engaged. That's the hardest thing to do at a place like PSU, and sometimes you got to be loud.
Just a question, though. You know, by having a corporation, not that I'm for the corporations taking over, but wouldn't it seem like it would guarantee more money for you guys, everybody?
Depends where the funding source is. Right now, the actual term, I believe, is student-supported funding base. A lot of what we're hoping won't happen is we're really worried that large tuition hikes will happen. A large part of that is that we don't have any accountability to the people making those decisions. The issue is that with the models being proposed, both the ones mimicking the OHSU model and some other ones that were mentioned in the white paper and the Frohmeyer report, those all support an autonomous board of unelected individuals who don't necessarily need to be accountable to the Oregon University system or the Board of Higher Education or the Oregon Legislature. I mean, democracy is all about being able to vote out people who are making decisions that you don't support. That's what it's supposed to be about.
And you wouldn't have that in this case, huh?
Exactly, and that's what we're worried about more than anything else. We're really concerned that we won't be able to hold the decision makers accountable. And you know, we want to have a place on the bargaining table. That's where we get our power. If that's taken away from us, you know, all we have are rallies and, you know, popular movements. Organizing is where it's at. You got to get people and use that kind of power. That's what we're trying to do now. But ideally, you know, you have a hybrid model where you're in on the discussion, where you're actually representing, you know, a popular student voice, and where you have, you know, say over the decisions that are made. If that's taken away from students, as the current models being proposed will do, then, you know, what are we left with? You know, you got to organize and get active with these kind of things.
That makes sense, as compared to just getting the cash from some outside corporation that really doesn't have much.
Yeah, and you know, if their interests change, then our funding base can change. If like the economic situation in the country or the world changes, it could absolutely change our funding base. And if we corporatize, then the funding we get from the state, which is already minuscule, is going to go down even more. You know, that's really the core of it. Like, education should not be a corporate commodity. That's the central message that we have. And in a day and age where, you know, not only are bachelor's degrees like a high school, like the equivalent of a high school diploma, you know, a decade or two ago, but also the four-year bachelor's degrees are on average taking 6 years at our institutions. So we're taking more time to get things done, and it's costing more money, and it's setting people out into a job market where, you know, the whole floor has been elevated to a bachelor's degree level with, you know, between 20 and like 80 grand of debt. And it's not a sustainable system. It's not a system that can like allow Oregon to continue to be prosperous or even, you know, rise to any prosperity. And it's not a system where the voices that are being involved in the system are being heard. That's what
That's
we're working
important.
for. Yeah.
One more question. What's the deal with Frohmeyer now? Or there's a reference to
Frohmeyer, to David Frohmeyer?
Yeah.
David Frohmeyer was actually the gentleman who published the first report that started this dialogue. Last November, or this previous November, David Frohmeyer released the Frohmeyer report, which laid out his model for corporate structuring. It was based on OHSU. It also had another talking point there. He laid out the first report, and then Vivi Bell released the white paper, which is supposedly speaking on behalf of all of PSU, but that was published like within the week of him coming to the students and introducing this.
So not a lot of input from the students on the white paper.
Or the faculty, and that's the bigger part. We have actually been, in a lot of ways, ASPSU, the student government at Portland State University, has been the one taking this message to the faculty. And a lot of times, actually most of the time, the faculty has no idea that corporate restructuring is even being considered. And you know, that can affect their jobs too. So not only is it affecting people's education, but it's affecting the jobs and the job security of the people, you know, working to create, you know, the next generation into an intellectually developed and capable generation.
Good. Gave me a lot of info. Thank you.